Hello there and welcome to another expense video presentation. I realized earlier that I hadn't shown you one more aspect of the expense screen, which I really want to show you. When you turn your additional columns on, if you have your additional columns turned on and the screen's going backwards and forwards like this, it can look a bit, it can be a bit confusing when you're looking for something. So what they've done is they allow you to do two things. If you want to find a transaction and you're looking at it, if I highlight, see this blue little box here? I'm going to turn these columns back off. Look at that blue area when I turn them back off. It disappears. It's not there now. If I turn them back on, two things are going to happen. Watch here. You've already seen the blue bit. Watch here. This is going to change. If I click close, now we have three different icons. We've got a buy line, a buy page, and naturally it brings up the columns again. Brings this box up again. If I click buy line, we enter new transactions in the normal manner. If I click buy page, this comes up. So now, instead of the screen going backwards and forwards, you can enter all your expense section entries on a nice, great little screen. I can do everything I did before. It's all on the same screen, except now it's so much simpler. It's really nice. I like this screen. This is much better than doing it before. I click complete this transaction and it just jumps to another one. The only other thing I haven't shown you on this screen, okay, that's for entering. Oh, this blue icon here. Sorry, I want to show you this. If you want to look for data on the screen and you're looking up and down transactions and you go, oh, I'm looking for something here, but I want to look at this column, you're looking at two different things. That's ugly too. If I highlight, the moment I move my mouse over that blue thing, this pops up. It tells me there's 25 expense entries here. I can now view that information as well. All the information I've currently got on the screen from this. I can use the page up and down button on my keyboard if I want to. I can use this slider here. So it's just another way of presenting the information to you. You can't actually add a new entry here, but you can view your existing entries. You do have a little help icon here as well. It's all there for you. Another thing I want to point out with the expenses is you'll see up the top here you have capital expense. Why is that sitting there? We've put this in this area because it makes more sense. Rather than having a separate icon on the main screen, okay, you'll see that there's no capital icon on the screen. There's a capital resources, but it's a completely different area. If you purchase an item, if I jump into capital, it gives you more information here. Let's say I purchase a particular item. Let's just imagine it's a specific tool that cost me $3,000. Now, a lot of countries, Australia included, will only allow you to write off or claim something as an expense, providing it's only up to a certain amount. You cannot claim a full deduction for the full price of an item over a certain figure. However, you're allowed to claim any GST or any sales tax claimed in most countries in the current year you purchased it. So it's a catch-22. What do we do with that figure? So here what we've done is, on this screen, on the expense screen, if you pick up if you're doing expenses like me and you're going for the end of the month and you're doing your expenses or daily, whichever you do it, and you know it's a capital expense, it's over a certain figure, or you just know for some reason that's not a tax deduction, I've got to claim it for depreciation value or however you've got to do it. It allows you to record it in a different area. I'm going to click here. It's a capital expense. So as you're entering in your receipts, oh, it's a capital expense. Click here. I can enter that information here instead. This information is exactly the same as the other screen. You don't have an additional column here, like the expense screen, but you have additional comment section, okay? Because really, how many of us are going to be entering information on this type of screen? It's just, throughout the year I might have 2 or 3 items entered here. I don't have much because I don't have many items to depreciate, okay? But the facility is there. What is so different here is, though, one purpose. Look here, sales tax will appear on the sales tax report. Any entry you record here, although it's a separate report, when printed out in the year, you can print out a separate capital expense report and give it to your accountant. Throughout the year, if you've got to record sales tax and remit that to the tax office, for whichever country you're in and however you report that, I don't know. In Australia, we've got to report it quarterly, monthly in some cases. You want to be able to show the sales tax you purchased or that was applied to that item, because we accrue in Australia, as well as I know in other countries, we're allowed, even if it's a depreciable item, in this case a $3,000 item, however the amount was, let me just show you this, $3,000, I'm allowed to defer this $272 against any GST I've paid out on products. So that will also appear in the sales tax report. Okay, I want to point that out. So capital expenses go here. It won't appear it won't appear on any other report except the capital expense report, except for the GST will appear. I'll quickly show you that. I'm just going to show you that, okay? I called it GST. You might call it something else in your country, sales tax. I'm going to show you that report briefly. So at some other time you will see this report in depth anyway. But click the reports menu. I'm going to click the sales tax report for the complete year. You will happen to see here capital. Capital purchases of $3,000 has sales tax involved in it. See that? There's that figure appearing. If I delete that now, it won't appear on this screen. So it lays out that it was there. If I jump back in and I delete that, I will show you it's not there anymore. It doesn't appear. That's the only difference with the capital expense screen. Your sales tax will appear on the sales tax summary sheet. I don't need to show you anything else for the expenses.